Most people believe self-discipline is a gift given to a lucky few, something you're either born with or forever lacking. But the truth is, discipline is not destiny. It's a choice. It's built in small moments, strengthened through daily actions, and mastered by consistent practice, not by waiting for motivation. Imagine for a moment that you are a prisoner, not behind bars of steel and stone, but trapped within invisible walls that you cannot see, cannot touch, yet cannot escape. Every morning you wake with grand plans, noble intentions, and burning desires to change your life. You tell yourself today will be different. Today you will exercise. Today you will eat properly. Today you will work on that dream project. Today you will become the person you know you can be. The voice in your head starts whispering excuses. Just this once it says you can start tomorrow. You deserve a break. Life is too short to be so strict with yourself. And before you know it, another day has slipped through your fingers like sand, leaving you exactly where you started, wondering why you cannot break free from this cycle that keeps you trapped in mediocrity. You are not alone in this prison. Millions of people wake up every day with the same hopes, the same dreams, the same burning desire for change, only to find themselves defeated by the same invisible enemy. They start diet after diet, only to abandon them within weeks. They join gyms in January only to stop going by March. They buy books they never read, start projects they never finish, make promises they never keep. They live their lives in the gap between who they are and who they could become. And that gap grows wider with each passing day. The tragedy is not that they lack talent or intelligence or opportunity. The tragedy is that they lack the one thing that could set them free from this prison of unfulfilled potential. They lack self-discipline. But what if I told you that this invisible prison has a key? What if I told you that everything you have ever wanted, everything you have ever dreamed of becoming, everything you have ever hoped to achieve lies on the other side of a single skill that you can develop? What if the difference between the life you are living and the life you could be living comes down to one fundamental ability that separates those who succeed from those who struggle, those who thrive from those who thrive, from those who merely survive? That skill, that key, that difference maker is self-discipline. And today you are going to learn not just what it is, but how to build it, how to strengthen it, and how to use it to transform every aspect of your existence. Self-discipline is not about punishment or deprivation or making your life miserable. It is not about becoming a robot or losing your humanity or never having fun again. Self-discipline is about freedom. It is about power. It is about becoming the master of your own destiny instead of the slave to your impulses. When you master self-discipline, you gain the ability to do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. You gain the power to say yes to your future self and no to your present comfort. You gain the strength to choose the hard path that leads to easy outcomes rather than the easy path that leads to hard outcomes. This is the secret that successful people know and unsuccessful people ignore. This is the foundation upon which every great achievement is built. Look around you at the people who seem to have it all together. The ones who maintain healthy bodies while others struggle with weight. The ones who build successful careers while others complain about their jobs. The ones who create happy relationships while others wonder why love keeps eluding them. The ones who accumulate wealth while others live paycheck to paycheck. The ones who seem calm and centered while others are stressed and overwhelmed. What separates them from everyone else? Is it luck? Is it talent? Is it connections or circumstances or some special gift they were born with? While these things might play a small role, the real difference is much simpler and much more profound. The real difference is that they have developed the ability to control themselves. They have built the muscle of self-discipline. And that muscle allows them to do consistently what others do only occasionally. Think of self-discipline as the master skill, the one ability that makes all other abilities possible. Without it, knowledge is useless because you will not apply what you know. Without it, talent is wasted because you will not develop your gifts. Without it, opportunity passes you by because you will not do what is required to seize it. Without it, you remain forever trapped in the prison of good intentions and unfulfilled potential. But with self-discipline, everything changes. With self-discipline, you become unstoppable. You become the type of person who does not just dream about change, but creates it. You become the type of person who does not just talk about goals, but achieves them. You become the type of person who does not just wish for a better life, but builds one. The beautiful truth about self discipline is that it is not a talent you are born with or without. It is not determined by your genes or your upbringing or your circumstances. It is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed, it can be strengthened, it can be mastered. Every single person who has ever achieved anything meaningful has had to develop this skill. They were not born with it. Whew. They built it one small choice at a time, one difficult decision at a time, one moment of choosing their future over their comfort at a time. And if they can do it, so can you. The question is not whether you can develop self discipline. The question is whether you will. The first thing you must understand about building self discipline is that it operates exactly like a muscle in your body. When you first start exercising, lifting even small weights feels difficult. Your muscles shake, they burn, they protest against the unfamiliar strain. But if you persist, if you continue to challenge those muscles day after day, something remarkable happens. They adapt. They grow stronger. What once felt impossible becomes manageable. What once required tremendous effort becomes second nature. Your capacity expands. Your strength increases, and tasks that which once overwhelmed you now seem effortless. Self-discipline works the same way. Every time you choose to do what you should do rather than what you want to do, you are lifting weights in the gym of your character. Every time you resist temptation, you are doing a repetition that makes you stronger. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you are building the muscle that will allow you to keep bigger promises in the future. Every time you do something difficult when you do not feel like doing it, you are increasing your capacity to do more difficult things when you feel even less like doing them. This is why starting small is so important. You would not walk into a gym and try to lift the heaviest weights on your first day. That would only lead to injury and discouragement. Instead, you start with what you can handle and you gradually increase the challenge as your strength grows. The same principle applies to self-discipline. You do not need to transform your entire life overnight. You do not need to become a completely different person by tomorrow morning. You just need to start with something small, something manageable, something you know you can do consistently. Maybe it is making your bed every morning. Maybe it is drinking a glass of water as soon as you wake up. Maybe it is reading one page of a book each day. Maybe it is doing 10 push-ups before breakfast. It does not matter what you choose as long as you choose something and you commit to doing it every single day without exception. This is where most people get it wrong. They think motivation is what they need. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect circumstances to begin their transformation. They think that one day they will wake up feeling completely different, completely ready, completely motivated to change their lives. But motivation is like the weather. It comes and goes. Some days it is sunny and bright, filling you with energy and enthusiasm. Other days it is cloudy and gray, leaving you feeling sluggish and unmotivated. If you rely on motivation to drive your actions, you will be at the mercy of forces beyond your control. You will be like a ship without a compass drifting wherever the wind happens to blow. Discipline, on the other hand, is like having your own engine. It does not matter what the weather is like. It does not matter how you feel. It does not matter what obstacles appear in your path. With discipline, you can move forward regardless of external conditions. You can act regardless of how you feel. You can progress regardless of circumstances. This is why systems are more powerful than goals. Goals tell you where you want to go, but systems are what actually get you there. A system is something you do regardless of results, regardless of feelings, regardless of setbacks. A system is a commitment to the process rather than attachment to outcomes. Think of the most successful people you know or have heard about. I guarantee you they all have systems. The successful writer does not wait for inspiration to strike. They sit down at their desk at the same time every day and write. Whether they feel like it or not, the successful athlete does not train only when they feel motivated. They follow their training schedule regardless of weather, mood, or convenience. The successful entrepreneur does not work on their business only when they feel passionate. They show up consistently doing what needs to be done, even on days when the work feels mundane or difficult. This is the secret they understand and most people miss. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. Success is not a destination, but a way of traveling. Greatness is not something you achieve once, but something you practice daily. Then you stop relying on how you feel and start relying on what you do. Everything changes. When you stop waiting for the right moment and start creating the right moments through consistent action, you become unstoppable. When you stop looking for motivation and start building systems, you develop the kind of discipline that makes achievement inevitable. But here is what nobody tells you about developing self discipline. There is a voice inside your head that will fight you every step of the way. This voice is not your friend. This voice is not looking out for your best interests. This voice is the enemy of your potential, the assassin of your dreams, the saboteur of your success. This voice will whisper to you in moments of weakness. It will rationalize why you should break your commitments. It will convince you that you deserve a break, that life is too short to be so hard on yourself that you can always start again tomorrow. This voice is cunning and persuasive. It knows exactly what to say to make you abandon your goals. When you are trying to eat healthy, it will remind you how delicious that unhealthy food tastes. When you are trying to exercise, it will point out how comfortable your bed is. When you are trying to work on your dreams, it will highlight all the reasons why you should relax and watch entertainment instead. This voice will use your emotions against you. It will wait until you are tired, stressed, or upset, and then it will strike with devastating precision. The voice will tell you that discipline is too hard, that you are not strong enough, that other people might be able to do it, but you are different. It will remind you of every time you have failed in the past, every promise you have broken to yourself, every goal you have abandoned. It will use your history as evidence that you cannot change, that you will never change, that you might as well give up now and save yourself the disappointment. This voice will disguise itself as wisdom, as self-compassion, as practical thinking. But do not be fooled. This voice is fear wearing a mask. This voice is weakness pretending to be strength. This voice is the part of you that wants to keep you small, safe, and stuck exactly where you are. Learning to recognize this voice is the first step to defeating it. When you hear it starting to whisper its poisonous suggestions, you must immediately identify it for what it is. Do not argue with it. Do not negotiate with it. Do not try to reason with it. Simply acknowledge its presence and then do what you committed to do anyway. The voice will get louder when you ignore it. It will become more insistent, more creative, more desperate. This is actually a good sign. It means you are winning the battle. It means your discipline is getting stronger. And your old patterns of weakness are fighting for survival. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are not that voice in your head. You are the one who observes the thoughts, who experiences the feelings, who can choose to listen to the voice or ignore it. You are the conscious decision maker, the director of your own life story, the captain of your own ship. When you understand this fundamental truth, you gain tremendous power. You'll realize that you do not have to be controlled by every impulse, every emotion, every random thought that passes through your mind. You can observe these things without being consumed by them. You can acknowledge them without being controlled by them. This is where meditation and mindfulness become incredibly valuable, not as exotic spiritual practices, but as practical tools for building self-discipline. When you learn to observe your thoughts without judgment, when you develop the ability to witness your emotions without being swept away by them, you create space between stimulus and response. In that space lies your power to choose. In that space lies your freedom. In that space lies your ability to act according to your values rather than your impulses. But observation alone is not enough. You must also have a plan for what to do when the voice of resistance speaks up. You must have strategies ready, weapons prepared for the battle you know is coming. One of the most powerful strategies is to make your commitment so small that the voice cannot argue with it. If your goal is to exercise for an hour, the voice will have plenty of ammunition. It will point out how tired you are, how busy your day is, how you do not have the right clothes or equipment. But if your commitment is to do just one push-up, what can the voice say? One push-up takes 30 seconds. One push-up requires no equipment. One push-up can be done anywhere, anytime, regardless of circumstances. The magic happens when you do that one push-up. Momentum is a powerful force. And once you start moving, it becomes easier to keep moving. Often you will find that after doing one push-up, you might as well do 5. After doing 5, 10 seems reasonable. After doing 10, maybe you decide to do a full workout. But even if you stop at 1, you have won the battle for that day. You have kept your commitment. You have strengthened your discipline muscle. You have proven to yourself that you can be trusted to do what you say you will do. This principle of starting ridiculously small cannot be overstated in its importance. Most people fail at building discipline because they try to change too much too fast. They want to go from couch potato to marathon runner overnight. They want to transform from junk food addict to health guru in a week. They want to evolve from procrastinator to productivity machine in a month. But massive changes require massive discipline. And if you do not have that discipline yet, you are setting yourself up for failure. But here's the beautiful thing about relationships. They can be repaired, can be rebuilt, credibility can be restored. The way you rebuild trust with yourself is the same way you would rebuild trust with anyone else. You start small. You make commitments you know you can keep. You prove your reliability through consistent action. You demonstrate that your word means something by honoring it even when it is difficult, even when you do not feel like it, even when no one else would know if you failed. This process of rebuilding self-trust is one of the most important aspects of developing discipline. It is not just about building the ability to do hard things. It is about building the confidence that you can do hard things. It is about creating a track record of success that you can point to when future challenges arise. It is about becoming the type of person who does what they say they will do, not because it is easy or convenient or fun, but because they said they would do it. The ancient philosophers understood something that modern society seems to have forgotten. They understood that discipline is not the enemy of freedom, but the path to it. They understood that the person who cannot control themselves will inevitably be controlled by others. They understood that true strength comes not from external power, but from internal mastery. They understood that the highest form of victory is victory over yourself. When you develop self-discipline, you discover a paradox that seems to confuse many people. The more you restrict yourself, the more freedom you actually have. The more you say no to immediate pleasures, the more you can say yes to long-term fulfillment. The more you control your impulses, the more control you have over your destiny. This seems backwards to people who think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want to do it. But that type of freedom is actually a form of slavery. It is slavery to your emotions, your impulses, your immediate desires. Real freedom comes from being able to choose your response to any situation based on your values rather than your feeling. Real freedom comes from being able to do what needs to be done regardless of whether you feel like doing it. Real freedom comes from being able to say no to things that provide temporary pleasure but long-term pain, and yes to things that require temporary pain but provide long-term pleasure. Whoa. This is the freedom that discipline provides, and it is a freedom that most people never experience because they are not willing to pay the price to obtain it. The price of discipline weighs ounces, but the price of regret weighs tons. Every day you choose comfort over growth. You are choosing regret over satisfaction. Every day you choose easy over excellent. You are choosing a smaller life over a larger one. Every day you choose immediate gratification over long-term fulfillment. You are trading your future for your present. The tragedy is not that these choices feel bad in the moment. Often they feel quite good. The tragedy is what you give up without realizing it. The tragedy is the compound effect of small compromises that lead to a life of mediocrity. But when you choose discipline, when you choose to do what is difficult in the moment because it serves your long-term interests, you are investing in a different kind of compound effect. You are investing in a compound effect that builds strength rather than weakness, progress rather than stagnation, pride rather than regret. Every disciplined choice creates momentum for the next disciplined choice. Every time you do something difficult, you build evidence that you can do difficult things. Every time you resist temptation, you strengthen your ability to resist temptation in the future. This is why successful people seem to find success easier over time, while unsuccessful people seem to find life harder over time. It is not that successful people are blessed with easier circumstances. It is that their disciplined choices have created momentum that makes future disciplined choices feel more natural. Their past victories give them confidence to face new challenges. Their track record of following through gives them trust in their ability to follow through again. Meanwhile, unsuccessful people are fighting against the momentum of their own past failures, their own broken promises, their own evidence that they cannot be trusted to do what they say they will do. The beautiful thing is that this momentum can be changed at any moment. It does not matter how many times you have failed in the past. It does not matter how many promises you have broken to yourself. It does not matter how weak your discipline has been up until this point. Every moment is a new opportunity to start building positive momentum. So, every moment is a chance to cast a vote for the person you want to become. Every moment is an opportunity to prove that you are changing, that you are growing, that you are becoming someone who can be trusted to do what needs to be done. But momentum, like any force, requires energy to get started. The hardest part of building discipline is not maintaining it once you have it. This is why you must be willing to feel uncomfortable, to push through resistance, to act in spite of how you feel rather than because of how you feel. Most people give up during this initial phase because they expect it to feel good. They expect to feel motivated, energized, excited about their new habits. But discipline does not feel good at first. It feels awkward, uncomfortable, unnatural. It feels like wearing shoes that do not fit quite right. It feels like speaking a language you are just learning. It feels difficult because it is difficult. You are literally rewiring your brain, changing patterns that may have been in place for years or decades. But if you can push through this initial discomfort, if you can persist, even when it feels hard, even when you do not see immediate results, even when that voice in your head is screaming at you to quit, something magical happens. The awkward becomes familiar. The difficult becomes manageable. The unnatural becomes natural. What once required tremendous willpower begins to happen almost automatically. You cross the invisible line from having to force yourself to do something to feeling strange when you do not do it. This transformation does not happen overnight. It takes time, patience, and consistency, but it does happen. And when it does, you will understand why discipline is called the master key. You will understand why successful people seem to make success look effortless. You will understand why people with strong self-discipline seem to accomplish so much while making it appear so natural. They are not superhuman. They have not been blessed with special powers. They have simply done what you are learning to do. They have built the muscle of self-discipline through consistent practice. And now that muscle is strong enough to carry them toward their goals without the struggle that once made progress feel impossible. This brings us to one of the most important concepts in building lasting discipline: the idea of identity change. Most people try to change their behavior without changing their identity. The approach is doomed to fail. They think of themselves as lazy people trying to exercise, disorganized people trying to get organized, undisciplined people trying to build discipline. But behavior flows from identity. If you see yourself as a lazy person, you will act in ways that are consistent with being lazy.